Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting decimals. Before we move into adding and subtracting, let's review our decimal place value. So here's my place value chart. I have my decimal point. To the right of my decimal point, I have my tenths, my hundredths, and my thousandths. To the left, all my place values stay as usual, everything you're familiar with. My ones, my tens, my hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, all the way on up. The most important thing to remember when adding and subtracting decimals is to always line up the digits by place value. You can use graph paper to help you, or if you don't have any, you can use notebook paper or a notebook and turn it sideways so that you can use each line in each space for your decimal. For example, if you had 37 and 68 hundredths minus 14 and 53 hundredths, I can rewrite that like this. 37 and 68 hundredths minus 14 and 53 hundredths. And now I have my columns to line up. Now let's go back to our graph paper and work out that same problem. So I'm going to write 37 and 68 hundredths minus 14 and 53 hundredths. See how I only put one digit in each box on my graph paper? You want to get in the habit of doing that so that you make sure when you line up vertically, you have everything lined up correctly. So here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to skip this row, and I'm going to come down here, and I need to think about which decimal is bigger. If I have 37 wholes and 14 wholes, 37 and 68 hundredths is bigger than 14 and 53 hundredths. So 37 and 68 hundredths needs to be on top when I line up vertically. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to write 37 and 68 hundredths. Not going to forget my minus sign. Minus 14 and 53 hundredths. Now I can put my decimal point first and I can look at what's to the left. I only go to my tens place, so I have 14 and 53 hundredths. Now that everything is lined up, I can start. For decimals, when you add and subtract, as long as you line everything up by place value, you add or subtract as normal. Start all the way at the right. 8 minus 3 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. You just pull your decimal point down. 7 minus 4 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So your answer is 23 and 15 hundredths. In order to check with your inverse, like we usually do for subtraction, you take your answer plus your smaller decimal, and you would do it the exact same way. So you would take 23 and 15 hundredths plus 14 and 53 hundredths and add those up. Start at the right. Like always, when you add and subtract, you always start on the right. So 5 plus 3 is 8. 1 plus 5 is 6. Pull down your decimal point. 3 plus 4 is 7. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So my answer matches my top number over here, which means our answer of 23 and 15 hundredths is correct.